Everything she is saying is 1,000%. And I would also add the reason that this opinion is floating around, it's always existed, is that it's about control. You know that whole, oh, women should be seen and not heard. No, there are people out there that actually think that we should not be seen or heard. It reminded me of this book, If the Oceans Were Ink. It's written by Carla Power, who is a American/British Jewish woman who learned the Quran from a Sheikh Akram Nadwi, and he was actually talking about this concept of the fact that he uncovered a lot of female scholarships work that had been hidden in Islamic history. So I want to read this section to you. Sheikh Akram says, Muslim society prizes female modesty. Traditionally, many Muslim families didn't want the names of their wives or their daughters published. Keeping women's names out of the classroom, madrasa, or mosque records was just a broad interpretation of the concept of hijab. The term commonly used to refer to women's head coverings, in fact, referred more generally to the modesty required by both men and women. In an effort to keep women shielded from public view, the lives and works of learned women was simply left unrecorded. Then Carla writes, given the tradition of the unnamed woman, the 9,000 women the Sheikh had found were probably just a fraction of the female Islamic scholars throughout history. Sheikh Akram says, if I find 9,000 of them, there are many, many more. He said, at the end of each volume of Muhaddithat, that's the book about the female scholars, he had included citations of sources, sometimes hundreds of women who weren't named in sources but were identified in heart-trendingly brief descriptions, simply as sister, wife, or daughter. He goes on to say, in the history of Islamic scholarship, no woman has ever been accused of fabrication or inaccurate reporting of hadith. He said, they don't need to make up hadith. Hadith wasn't a source of income for them, and they didn't do it because they wanted to become famous. When they decided to learn, their reasons were so just for learning. And then he said, scholars in the past who were in the service of kings would invent hadiths because they flattered or aided the ruler. One scholar from Central Asia managed to find, in quotations, a hadith stating that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that the rivers of Central Asia were like the rivers of paradise. Sheikh Akram says that in the case of education, if women are prevented from pursuing knowledge, it is like the pre-Islamic custom of burying them alive. Not being able to study or learn is a live burial.